Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Life can certainly be funny at times. So yesterday I received a copy of Unearthed Arcana in the mail instead of the copy of the D&D Rule Cyclopedia that I had originally ordered. Back in February, early February of this year. We are currently near the end of April, so it's been a while to try to get this book come in. So I was prepared to wait another, month or, maybe even potentially more, because it seems that some people have been getting copies of Unearthed Arcana instead of the Rules Cyclopedia. So even, I suspect what's happened is there was some sort of issue with the code, the product code at the printers. So today, completely unexpectedly, my intercom rang, and it was Canada Post with some packages for me. So what these are, it looks like these are lost packages that haven't been properly delivered. For example, the very first things that I ordered from DM's Guild was a copy of the Elemental Evil Player's Guide, or Player's Companion, and a adventure known as the Scourge of the Sword Coast, Dreams of the Red Wizards. It was one of the Sundering adventures that never actually saw a retail release. So I had to order replacement copies, and I received my replacement copies of both of those books, and I received the original copy of the Scourge of the Sword Coast, and I never received the original copy of my Elemental Evil Player's Companion. So I got two packages here today. One of them is really thin, the other is actually quite thick, so I'm thinking that's probably what we have here. And it looks like we've got January 10th, so this may be the replacement copy. Maybe I got the originals, never received the replacement. But this has a date of January 1st, 2018 on it. So let's go and have a look, shall we? And just see what we've got here. And see if it's in better shape than the one that I got a little while ago. So, first things first. So this is the Elemental Evil Player's Companion. So you can see it there. And wow. Okay, this one's actually in really great condition. The other one that I initially received was pretty banged up. And so I'll have to do a, sorry about that, just for some odd reason I can't seem to clear my throat. So yeah, the original one that I received was actually really banged up, and I had to place it under a bunch of heavy books for several, I think I had it underneath there for probably about a week, maybe even 2 weeks, just to try to get it to flatten out a little bit. So like the bottom was really badly damaged, and the top was folded up. And this one's actually in pretty much perfect shape. So this is pretty great. Pretty cool to finally get the other copy of this. So like I said, I don't know what happened with these two items. I kind of suspect that maybe they got lost, or because if I look here, the date on this one, and this is heavy, so I'm pretty sure that this is finally my Rule Cyclopedia, but I'm not gonna declare it to be so until I actually open it up and look at it. But the date here is right. It is February the 11th, 2000. Well, definitely not 2118. I don't know why they put that on there, but yeah. So this is, I think this is finally the Rules Cyclopedia. But we'll kind of see. Now I'm expecting there's probably going to be a little bit of damage, but honestly at this point I'm really not worried about it. It looks a little bit dented up, but we'll see if that's the actual book or just the packaging that it came in. So, and of course these things are just not going to be easy to open. I have a pocket knife somewhere, and I just couldn't find it for the purposes of making this video. Alright, moment of truth. Hopefully it's not just like two Unearthed Arcana stacked on top of each other. So, it is just one cover. Is it? Is it finally what I've been waiting for? If I can get you out of here. It is. Oh my god. And there's a helicopter going overhead. So we'll just wait for that. Holy crap, we finally have my D&D Rules Cyclopedia. And you know what? Let's just tilt this up a little bit. You know what? It's not that bad. I was actually expecting it to be in a lot worse shape. So there is a little bit of a dent. We'll just pen that up. There is a little bit of a dent on the cover up here, but you know what? I think we'd be hard-pressed to find a modern one that that doesn't have that. So here we go. Wow, this is just so. First of all, for all the people who watched my video yesterday and sent, you know, their condolences and sympathy for everything, this is just unbelievably amazing to finally have this in my hands. I mean, this is something that I've been wanting for a very long time. And you know, there are two other versions of the basic rules. There's the Holmes Basic, which was sort of to bridge the gap between Zero Edition and AD&D First Edition. That's the adventure where B1 in Search of the Unknown was included in. And then there's the Moldvay Basic, and I can't remember who did the expert rules. I don't think it was Moldvay. Those versions of the basic and expert rules are what became, or what this came from. So Frank Menser basically kind of rewrote the basic rules, rewrote the expert rules, kept the same level ranges and everything, and created his own set, which we know as the BECMI or BECMI, Basic, Expert, Companion, Master, or Mortals. Let's just have a look at this thing, because this is absolutely amazing. So I got the Rules Cyclopedia, and you know what? I love this Dungeons & Dragons logo. I think that this logo is really cool, and I wouldn't mind them going back and actually, you know, like using this version. It does have, of course, like the dragon in the and symbol, but what's actually cool about this one, when you compare it to, say, the 5th edition one, so the 5th edition one just has like the dragon's head, the fire, and the tail. But the this one, and I never actually noticed this, it's on my creature catalog too. I never actually noticed this, but this dragon has like actual arms. And just a little bit more detail, so you can actually see, like, it's really cool looking. So let's just crack this open here. Now I'm going to hold this very carefully, because I don't want anything to possibly happen to it. And we got our cover there, and I mean, everything looks really great. So I think what I'm going to do is actually just pan that up quite a bit. Character creation. So, you know, got your ability scores. And just give their bonuses or minuses. Yeah, here we go. So, what's really cool is that this version of Dungeons & Dragons, instead of having like these, you know, variant abilities with each of your ability scores, like having these charts for each one, what you have is essentially a system very similar to what we have now. And I'm going to do a more comprehensive video on the basic rule set and stuff like that in the future. But it is really cool to see, like, if you had a 9 through 12, there was just no adjustment, which is pretty similar to what it is in AD&D. But your ability scores would just give you a +1, 2, or 3 bonus. So if you had 13 through 15, it was +1, 16 and 17 was +2, and 18 was +3. Which is kind of cool, because when 3rd edition came out, they dropped the advanced name from it, and the ability scores just had modifiers, which is really neat. Alright, let's go and just have a quick look at our character classes. Okay, so we got ourselves, so this is the Cleric Experience table. So what's interesting in Zero Edition is that, or not Zero Edition, wow. In basic D&D, if you played a Cleric, you didn't get any spells at first level. So you didn't get your spells until you gained second level, where you gain one clerical spell and then you kind of go from there. So they were still like fighter types. They could wear armor, they could use weapons. I believe they could turn undead from the very beginning. So it's not that they didn't have any abilities, it's just that, you know, they didn't get their spells at first level. So then we got our fighter. That's a much more simplistic chart there. So the fighter, so the cleric gained second level at 1500 experience points. The fighter had to earn 2000 to reach second level. Magic users, so they did gain a spell at first level, but they had to gain 2500 to get to second level, which is quite a bit. It's definitely kind of crazy. The Thief, of course, was the easiest class to level up because they only had to get 1200 experience points, so they gained even faster than the Cleric did. And then we got our Dwarf, which is 2200 for their experience. It's not bad. And of course the artwork for them there. And then we got, wait, did we skip the Elf? Okay, nope, the Elf starts there. Alright, I got a little nervous for a second. So yeah, so here is, well, let's skip over the Elf just for a second. And let's just see what we got for the Halfling. So our Halflings gained experience at 2000, so they gained second level. So not too bad, overly, as far as all this stuff goes. However, the Elf, so the Elf was a combination of fighter and magic user. So they could, you know, use weapons, they could fight, you know, similar to a fighter. And I want to say that they could actually also use armor while casting their spells. So I don't think that they had to be unarmored and still be able to cast anything. But they certainly made up for it, because if you take a look, to get second level as an elf was 4,000 experience points, which is absolutely crazy. So let's just, like I said, I'm not going to do a full review on this book just as of yet. But we got our character sheet, which is cool. We got the spells, AD&D game conversion. And this came out in, I don't know if the date's on the back here or not, 1991. So, you know, converting to AD&D, I believe, would be converting to second edition. And I think they essentially kind of wanted to move away from having the two different product lines and just having the one, right? So. But it's really cool here. It's got some information on the game world. So this, I believe the default setting for this was known as Mystara. And so it mentions, like, we got Hollow World, which is kind of cool. Hollow World, maybe Hollow World was the default setting for this, but I think Hollow World was in Mystara. And if you played the Dungeons & Dragons arcade games, was it Tower of Doom and Shadows over Mystara, they took place, or they used the D&D basic rule set as well. So you got the Hollow World there. Yeah, okay, there we go. So we got the world of Mystara, which is nice. The maps look really, really nice, and nice color to them. I mean, this is just, I didn't think I'd have this. So I mean, this is just unbelievable to finally have this, you know, in my possession. This is so cool. So over the next few days, I'm going to be definitely reading this and seeing, you know, how to basically go through and make the characters. I do want to just have a quick look gotta check out, oh, there we got some stuff on Immortals, which this covered very, very little of. But where's we got our monster stats here. So we got a Hydra, Gargoyle. So what I'm looking for, oh, you got a Dolphin. There we go, that's the one I'm looking for. We got our Beholder. Right next to the giant bees and the giant beetles. We got our Beholder stats there, so I don't even know what to say. I mean, this is just so awesome. I mean, I was trying to look at the positive side of things yesterday. I mean, you know, accidents happen, and I certainly understand that. And I had a lot of people say that they, you know, were kind of not interested in following through or ordering stuff from DM's Guild. And I want to say, you know, my experiences are not necessarily typical. And if you are a U.S. resident, you're probably not going to have you're going to have very few of these issues, if any. The biggest thing for me as a Canadian right now is the distributors or the printers had split up the territories in a really unusual way. So anything that's being ordered or sent to Canada is being printed over in Europe instead of being printed in, you know, North America. It is something that they are looking to change. I mean, you can see here it is Lighting Source UK Limited, where these are being printed right now. So if you're living in the United States, you're probably not going to have that that on there, and it's going to be printed, you know, much closer, and you shouldn't have any issues receiving a lot of these things. So I would still very highly recommend DM's Guild, and you know what, for all the issues that I have had, their customer service has been excellent. And I don't have any complaints about that. I mean, they kind of went above and beyond. My understanding is that they don't request replacement, you know, like if they reprint an item and send it out to you and you get both or you get the wrong item, my understanding is that they don't request that you resend them or send them back. So, like, they never mentioned anything about me returning the Unearthed Arcana book. And so, yeah, I mean, this is just really awesome. I mean, I just want to take a moment just to look at the artwork here, and I mean, I got to find a prominent place to put this on my shelf because this is really awesome. But so whether you're a player or a dungeon master, the Dungeons & Dragons Rules Cyclopedia is now the comprehensive source book you need for the original role-playing or the original fantasy role-playing game. I'm so blown away I can't even read properly. For ages 12 and up, the Cyclopedia contains the complete game system and hundreds of features, including all the rules from the D&D box set series, including Basic, Expert, Companion, and Masters. So I do have the Masters rule set. I do not have the other ones, and at this point I don't really need them because it's the same stuff that's in here, just all organized together. Guidelines to develop and play characters from levels 1 through 36. Comprehensive... Still have this aimed up a little high. Comprehensive list of weaponry and equipment. Expansion rules including optional skills and talents. An overview of the known world and the Hollow World game settings. The official D&D campaign world. Rules to convert D&D games and characters to AD&D 2nd edition game statistics and back again. And provides all the original monsters from the earlier box sets. Fully compatible, just get it to focus here if we can. Fully compatible with the new Dungeons & Dragons box set, this volume allows players to fully scope out fantasy, or, oh my god. Fully compatible with the new Dungeons & Dragons box set, this volume allows players the full scope of fantasy role-playing from the dungeons to the outer planes. Now, more than ever, the Dungeons & Dragons game is ready and waiting for you. Like I said, I'm so excited to finally have this that I can't even focus on reading. So, even though my voice probably doesn't belay that because I'm not very verbally expressive, but this is just unbelievable. I can't believe I finally have this, and I was so... like I said, I was trying to look on the bright side, and, you know, again, I don't blame DM's Guild, and this is usually an issue with, you know, once they print it and once they send it, it's out of their control. So, I mean, for people that say that, oh, well, you know, you've had trouble getting your items, so I don't want to deal with them. The fact of the matter is that all they can do is mail it. Once they do that, it's out of their control. The one thing I will say that, they could improve on is definitely their packaging, and someone has stated that they don't want to order as long as they're just packing them in these paper sleeves, and that I understand because, again, you're going to end up getting some damage. Most of the things that I have a little bit of like a ding in the corner, or things of that nature, so it's something that's going to happen. If now if they had them in a box and they bubble wrap them, then this wouldn't be happening. So it is one thing that at that point I could definitely see. But as far as saying, well, you're not getting your items sent to you, then I don't think I should order from them. Anyone that said that they don't want to order from them, I have tried to let them know that I don't hold any grudges or ill will towards them. And again, once you ship something out, it's out of your control. So this is really an issue of international shipping. I mean, here we have an item that this is the reprint item that would have been sent out in January, and it didn't get here until the end of April. And that's not DM's Guild's fault. That's just issues with shipping. So something happened at the post office. It either got sent to the wrong place, or just got forgotten about, or whatever. But it wasn't DM's Guild or DriveThruRPG's problems or issues. They're not the ones that are responsible for it. So yeah, here we go. So I've got my range of D&D Rule Cyclopedia items here. So I've got the Rule Cyclopedia, I've got the Creature Catalog, and I have the Shady Dragon Inn. So I guess the question is, at this point, what do I want to do with my master set rules? And I'll have to think about that. I do have a friend who picked up the older versions of like the Moldvay Basic, and he has the expert rules as well. So if you can find the companion rule set, because the two styles are very compatible, I may consider giving them to him. I'll think of something to do with them. But at this point, I'm not really worried about going after the other box sets because I have that information. The only other thing I might consider, even though I really don't necessarily want to get it, is there was a rulebook called Wrath of the Immortals. And that was meant to basically clean up and replace the original Immortals box set, which was not included in this. So it was a separate product that was compatible with the Rule Cyclopedia. If that goes print on demand, I might consider getting it. But at this point, I'm just happy to finally have the Rule Cyclopedia. So I'm going to stop babbling on now, and I'm going to start giving this book a read. So anyway, I just want to thank everyone once again who has shown their support throughout this entire ordeal. I really appreciate all of your kind comments, and I really appreciate everything that all you guys have done as far as like support and just watching my videos, commenting on them. It means the world to me. So in the next week or so, I will definitely be doing a review of the Rule Cyclopedia book, as well as going through creating a first level fighter and doing the Goblin Test Challenge to go along with all the other editions that I've done that for. So thank you guys very much for watching. Once again, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Funding for this channel is provided by my awesome supporters over on Patreon. So everyone who has donated to that, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Even $1 a month helps immensely, and without your guys' support, this channel would not be possible. I want to provide special thanks to Kennedy S., David L., Will W., Michael L., The Twisted Tentacle Inn, and Roll Stats for their generous donations. Thank you again to everyone who's contributed, and all of you make this possible.